particularly for you, Caprice, to feel like an extension of the HR team. As you know, these relationships tend to become kind of intimate. You're meeting with every employee and having really personal conversations, and doing that in a really prepared and professional way is really important to all of us. And I know that this session is going to put you in a really good position to do that. This project started back in, I would call it early spring probably, when Cost Wisconsin had some all-state policies in place, and it was time to start looking for a replacement. So we made a move to Guardian and started to replace those all-state policies in a piecemeal way. What we did not introduce during the spring enrollment was a permanent life solution or a critical illness solution. So those two plans are going to be kind of sort of new to this open enrollment process. And then, of course, the accident and disability products as well. So I'll spare you the nuances of everything. I'll let Scott walk through all that. But we're just really excited to be able to deliver a consistent, strong message enrollment process for Cost of Wisconsin and their employees. So thank you in advance for your commitment to the project and your professionalism and engagement. Really appreciate it.
All right.
At this point, Iveta and Kim are with us from Cost of Wisconsin. Kim or Iveta, anything that you would add?
Just that, you know, this whole process, this whole using enrollers is entirely new to us this year. So people are going to be very unfamiliar what to expect and what exactly, you know, we're going to be doing. We're doing our best to communicate to them what's coming. But since it's entirely new, we just want you to be prepared for lots and lots of questions.
Right.
I was just going to add, so with the new plans that are coming in, and then also some of the plans that we kind of transitioned from Allstate to Guardian, those are going to appear like new to a lot of people. So we really want to engage and make the employees aware of what their options are and sell them on those options. Keeping in mind too, though, that you know, we don't want to force anybody's hand, or, you know, you're going to have people that are going to come on the phone who are busy. They work out in the field. It's, you know, hard to get a hold of them, and just be respectful of everybody's time and understand that there's going to be some people that are going to just say, hey, I don't want anything, and that's perfectly fine. And then other people that are going to actually want to go through piece by piece and get those details.
And we're going to have some people that are going to be reluctant to even speak with the enrollers in person and over the phone, just because this is new for us. And I can tell you that a lot of our field are extremely busy right now and working overtime. So, you know, for them to take the time to do this is kind of like a big deal.
Okay. Okay.
That's great color commentary. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, thank you. And Caprice is joining the webinar now, so we're good there. The one thing I wanted to say before we get started here is that huge kudos to the team here. You are actually our first client ever to have everyone scheduled for an appointment well in advance of the first day of enrollment. So congratulations. Thank you so much.
Yay. Hopefully they'll all show up.
But that's huge for us. You know, it's one of the hardest things we do is to get folks to schedule an appointment, and you did it well in advance, and we can't thank you enough for that.
Just so you are aware, at one point we have to make everybody aware that if they don't get scheduled in, they're going to get forced scheduled in.
Yeah, we schedule them for them.
Understand that expectation was set as well, and so that's too maybe potentially where you'll see some reluctance, but we just kind of keep communicating that same message over and over, that this is a requirement from everybody, and it's like, it doesn't matter if you're on a plan, you're getting a new plan, you don't want anything, you need to participate.
And sort of just an overall, you know, we are two different construction companies housed under the same administration, and we do we're very heavily male, and we do have a lot of very single males that work for us. So they don't necessarily see the benefit in having additional insurance, and even having medical insurance sometimes, convincing them how important it can be a bit of a stretch. So just, know that sort of going into it as well.
Okay. Good information. All right. So Caprice, you weren't on previously, but we created basically a website just for enroller training here, and I'll send you this link. What I included in the training invite was all the individual documents. It's just easier to reference them from one site. So we did this today. So that's what I'll be referencing. So the first thing we have on here is the enroller schedule. Of course, you have this. It's a twofold. We have on-site at 2 locations, and then we have call center for the rest. And that's why we have Eric on the line here as well. The times are Central Time across the board here. And you guys, this is not the first time you've seen this.
And we have people working on West Coast, East Coast, Central Time right now, so they're going to be calling in from all over the place.
Right.
Yeah.
And then Caprice, the addresses for the 2 locations are on tab 2 there. I just want to point that out.
Yes, I've already MapQuest them.
Good.
They're only about a half a mile apart, so.
Yeah. So what else, what the other documents we have contained in here, we have the enrollment kits from Guardian, because most of the products are Guardian products, and they're specific by class of employee. So, and there are some variances between them. So you have office, CEO, officers, managers, and commission sales, field employees, and then shop. That should say shop, not ship. So the differences are slight, but let's just go into one of them here. So we have a traditional medical plan, a PPO. We have an HSA, and we'll get to that in a second here. And then most of the other products are here. So dental, life insurance, that's 3 types of life insurance: basic life, voluntary term life, and voluntary permanent life. Short-term disability, critical illness and accident. Now, some other classes of individuals get long-term disability as well. You don't really need to know any of this because it's all based on classes in the system. So once you go into the system, you pull up the employee, you're going to see what they're eligible for. If they're eligible for 20 or 50,000 on the basic life, it's already going to be there for you. If they're eligible for STD and not LTD, you're going to know that. It'll be right in front of you. This is just for reference. But these are good to have as a point of reference if someone pulls a question that you don't know off the top of your head. It's a good reference point. Now, these documents are very long. I think they're 54 pages, something like that, depending on the class. 54 pages this one is. So they're not that easy to navigate. Actually, mine just locked up here. Let me try field employees. There we go. So dental, life, STD, critical illness and accident. And let's just go through these one at a time. The dental is the same across the board. The life insurance is the same across the board except for the basic life, because depending on the class, they get either 20, 40, or 50. And we'll look at that too. Short-term disability is the same, but long-term disability, obviously, this class is not offered LTD. And even the classes that are offered LTD, there are different maximums, either 10 or 15,000 a month. So we'll get into that as well. But let's just go through this document here. Being such a large document, there's a ton of information in here, but I'll try to zip through the rate sheets and things. So this is the dental benefit summary. So it's a PPO. There's the premium. You have the calendar year deductible, $50, 3 deductibles per family. The deductible does not apply to preventive services. Preventive services are covered at 100%. 90% in network for basic services and 60% for major. That is very generous. That's more than what we normally see. And then $1,000 annual maximum, pretty standard. And then there's also an orthodontic orthodontia benefit, 50%, lifetime orthodontia maximum, $1,000. And that's for, is the orthodontia just for dependent children?
Correct.
Okay. And there's a really good description in the several pages after this also of what exactly falls under preventive, basic, and major, because that comes up. But generally, it's your oral exams, cleanings, x-rays for preventive services. You can see them displayed here. But there are out-of-network benefits. They're not as rich, but they are available. Is there anything else to speak to on the dental plan, ladies?
The biggest piece I would just clarify is that there is a $1,000 maximum.
Yes.
Per year, and so I think that's important in terms of, you know, for somebody to not be expecting to like have massive preventative measures or major care going on throughout the year and thinking that they're going to have it all covered.
Right.
And then the other piece is depending on what type of business they have throughout the year, they can also roll over a certain amount of money each year up to a maximum yearly benefit of $2,000. And so there's certain kind of criteria, and it's a little bit further in the document, but that's another feature of.
They don't tap into that maximum benefit amount. It rolls over the next year.
Yep.
Right, right. Okay, good points. Very good points. And then, and like I said, Caprice and Eric, there's a lot of more information in here that we probably don't have time for today. Here's the rollover description, actually.
Yep, that's what we're talking about.
With even an example of how you can move money year to year. So if they have to have that major, you know, whatever it is, root canal, and they don't have enough funds left, then they can potentially move some money to the next year and do it then.
Okay.
All right. So I know there's tons of pages in here, so forgive me for making everybody dizzy here. So this is life insurance for this class. This is $20,000 basic life insurance. So for the basic life, I think I'll type up a summary of this. So there are a couple different classes that get 20,000. There's a class that gets 40,000, and the CEOs and CEOs and executives get 50,000.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it is. The manager class gets 40,000, and the CEO gets 50,000. CEO and executives get 50, and then office staff and the others get 20. But like I said, it's all in the system. So when you pull up the employee, it shows you what they get. But that's a company-paid basic life insurance with AD&D included. And then there's voluntary term life. This is the same. These other two are the same across the board. So you have voluntary term life, and then you also have voluntary permanent life. And then down below, here it is, the guarantee issue coverages, depending on the product, of course. So the term life, less than age 65 is 150,000. These are the guarantee issue limits. Again, you don't really need to know this. It's in the system, but you know, it's nice to reference. In the system, actually, it's a slider bar, and it turns red when it's no longer a guarantee issue. So you know, we'll cover that as well. And then the permanent life, 150,000, if they're under 65 at least. This is all built in the system and caps out. So that's life insurance. And then we have disability, several pages of rate sheets here. And then I think it is page 33 that we get to disability. Yes. So the short-term disability, this is the same across the board as well. So the benefits begin on the 8th day. So it's a 7-day waiting period and a 26-week benefit period. The benefit amounts are $200 to $1,500, depending on the employee, of course. And there is a pre-X. Now, is this product new? Is the short-term disability with Guardian and plan, or?
Yes and no, from the perspective that it was one of the benefits that we just rolled in Allstate plan to Guardian, but then again, it was titled differently, and so it's going to come across as new to most employees that have not previously had it.
Okay. Gotcha.
there were some people that were taking the Allstate plans that are already taking this,
Yes.
but a vast majority of people were not.
Gotcha. Okay. And then rate sheets, more information. And now this class doesn't have a long-term disability, but we'll take a look at that as well. So it takes us right into critical illness, different benefit amounts, again, all already in the system. Cancer is included as a benefit at 100%, and you can see the list, and then the percentages of the face amount that they would receive upon diagnosis. So they have first occurrence and second occurrence if they're unfortunate enough to have a recurrence. And then there are a whole list of other benefits. There are just a ton of coverages here, a ton of illnesses covered under the Guardian Plan. And then you can see the percentages there. And it even goes into the next page here. Guarantee issue $25,000 for the employee, $12,500 for the spouse. But again, this page is really just for the reference of what the covered diseases are and the percentages. The rates and everything else are all built out in the system. The $50 wellness benefit as well. And Caprice also, for on-site purposes, we did have these pages here printed and shipped to the HR folks here on the phone. Did you all receive those from us?
Not that I'm aware of yet. I asked our administrator at the front desk to look for it, but I haven't received anything yet. Worst comes to worst, I can always print it.
Yeah, when were they sent?
Deanna, do you have that? Do you know when these flyers were sent out?
I don't. I'll check with Matt.
Okay, we'll check.
If we don't see them by tomorrow, we'll just go ahead and print them.
Okay. All right, and then the rates, again, you don't have to worry about. And then the accident plan, of course, works on a fee schedule, off-the-job coverage on this one, $50 wellness as well. And then, so it works on a fee schedule. You are injured in an accident off the job, you submit your claims form, and they'll tally up all of these costs here, not only the injury itself, but the treatment, and then send a check. And so oftentimes on the accident plan, that check will outweigh the actual expenses incurred, but it's okay because they have a fee schedule. So that's the idea. The whole point of accident insurance, of course, is to help you with those out-of-pocket expenses. Hospital admission, $1,000. Daily confinement, $225 a day. And $2,000 and $450 a day if it's ICU. But again, we printed these, not the whole thing, this 54 pages, but we just printed these summary pages here for the product so you'd have them on hand. Caprice.
Thank you. Thanks.
There. Let's see. Let me go to the medical. Traditional SBC. So this is the plan document. Now, is this a current document? It says 2018 here.
Yeah, that should, well, yeah, we just need to update it.
Okay.
As far as I know, Lars, that's current, right? It says 2018 on it. The SBCs don't change for this year, or?
Sorry, our insurance person, Mars, just joined us.
No, I mean, we're going to get new ones, presumably. We should contact
Monday.
by Monday?
Yeah.
Well, nothing's changing.
Yeah, nothing's changing, so these are just fine.
Okay.
I would just, maybe we can even do this internally, is hide the coverage period thing or just delete it off of there and resend it to them.
Okay. Yeah, so if nothing's changing, then that's fine. So the deductible is $1,000 for the individual, $3,000 for family in network. And you can see the out-of-pocket maximum, $3,000 and $9,000, and none of that's changed, right?
Yep.
Copays, primary doctor, $35 copay, specialist, $65 in network. And then 20% coinsurance for most of the rest, drugs, $10 copay for generics, $40 for preferred brand names, meaning that it's on the carrier's formulary. And then non-preferred brand names, $60, not on the formulary. And then your specialty drugs. Most other items, your diagnostic testing, 20% coinsurance, facility if you have to go in the hospital or outpatient, emergency room, $250 copay, then 20% coinsurance. And none of this has changed from current, so employees should already be familiar with this, but guys, it's for benefits. Urgent care, $65 copay, and then coinsurance for the rest here. Okay, pretty standard. There's also an HSA plan, which is here. Anything change on the HSA at all?
Negative, right?
Nope.
Nope.
No, okay. So, a little bit different here. So $2,000 individual deductible for single coverage, $3,000 for family. That's a little bit.
It's $6,000 for family with and $3,000 embedded.
3,000 embedded. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
65.50 and 13.1 out-of-pocket maximums. So obviously with an HSA, you've got to meet your deductible first, and then you have a coinsurance, 80% coinsurance in this case, across the board. And that includes prescriptions too, I see.
I was going to say too, just like as a preview, like some typical questions that you'll get are going to be what's the difference between your traditional plan and the high deductible or the HSA plan.
Mm-hmm.
So be comfortable in answering that. And then the other piece is we have some employees that will ask, do I need to do an HSA account if I do the high deductible plan? And the answer to that is no, but the HSA, if you do want to do it, is only applicable with the high deductible plan. Yeah.
Yes, right. Of course. Is there an employer contribution at all to the HSA?
There is.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys have that document.
We printed that document for the on-site enroller.
Okay.
And I believe Mars, yeah, because Deanna had that document.
Yeah, I sent that to Deanna as well.
Okay, Deanna, could you send that over to Eric, please?
Sure.
And then.
And Matt said that
Sorry, go ahead.
as far as shipment, I would don't print those flyers. He said UPS is saying it'll be there tomorrow.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Okay. Thanks.
And on the HSA, just a follow-up question: if they enroll in the HSA in the system here, do they need to take an extra step? Because oftentimes they have to open a bank account if they're a new participant, or come to HR to fill out another form or anything.
I mean, assuming that we are getting a copy of the data feed here.
Yes.
And maybe, I don't know if there's a way on your end to have it kick out, right? Because I mean, the enrollment we do on our end here, we just submit a Excel document pretty much, and it uploads and then enrolls the person.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So
yeah,
so if you just
see that, we can provide that data, that enrollment data.
Yeah. So if there's someone that's interested, we would just need to know how much they want withdrawn on a weekly basis, and then essentially if they're taking a single or a family plan, and I think that's about it.
I think sometimes too, once they're enrolled, the HSA bank actually asks for some additional information. So
yes.
they may need additional info, and they'll request that from you directly.
Well, that's after I enroll them.
Yeah, after they're enrolled.
Yeah, so I mean that's unavoidable. So
Yeah.
as long as we know that to flag them somehow, to create an account for them for 1/1.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
And this is by far the less popular plan.
Yes.
I would say not even, 15% of our employees are currently utilizing it.
Right.
I think there's 14 people on it.
14. Okay, so I'm a little high at 15%. So there's only 14.
Well, no, that's not true. There's 14 people utilizing
HSA.
bank accounts.
So there's probably like 20 people utilizing
The whole high deductible plan.
Yeah. Okay. And then if I do enroll in the HSA, what is the employer contribution and when is it added to my?
That's twofold. It's so in total for the plan year, it's $250 for individuals, $500 for families, and then that's split up between a seed amount that they get when they open up the account, and then there's a quarterly matching contribution based on the remainder of that, based on how much they've paid in. But I mean,
Okay.
usually, even if you put in like $10 a month, you'd meet the contribution requirement.
And there's a schedule that's prorated depending on the month in which they start it.
Yeah, that's all in that document that we
but
sent.
that won't, the proration will come into play with open enrollment because we're starting right off.
Probably starting January
In
1.
short, it was $100 seed for individual and then up to another $150 match throughout the year. And then for family, it was a $250 seed up to another $250 match for a total of $500 for the year.
So this is
Okay, thanks.
Deanna. I know that sounds a little much. That when you get to the HSA enrollment screen, Eric and Caprice, you will you can click on. There's a link in the text bank there to take you to the document, which gives you all that information. It does have verbiage as well, so it's nothing. Well, it is important. It's just as far as what you're enrolling. We're capturing what the employee's deduction is going to be. If they want to put 50 per pay, then that's what we're enrolling. We're confirming that. And then again, you would want to mention that, while you're showing, especially Eric, if you're, when you're on the phone with them, maybe just read those couple of bullets. They may be familiar with it, maybe, because this isn't new, right? This was the way it was last year too.
Yep, correct.
Right. So, and if they say, oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, then you can move on or whatever. But if not, if they're new and they don't understand it, you can read that to them, just the verbiage at the top of that enrollment screen.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Speaking of the screens, let's just go in the system and take a look ourselves here. So you guys have the link to this, guardian.benselect.com. I sent it in the training invite there as well, and you have your login info. So I'm just going to go to enrollment and employees, and I have a random person here that I chose. Hover over the social gives me the full social, job class, so that gives me a little bit of information on what to expect when I get to the benefits. Location, weekly, and not begun is the enrollment status right now. If I click on the name and go into the employee, just scroll to the bottom, just make sure that hours per week are populated. It looks like we got it on the census, so it'll be there. I was actually in this person before, so there is a personal information screen that if you've not been into the person before, it'll push you straight to this screen. These fields, if they're a required field, it will not let you proceed without completing it. So there you go. Mobile phone number and email. These are required fields before I can proceed. So this is just a test environment today, so I'll just put in some stuff here to bypass it. Let me know.
Hey, Deanna, you got my email with the 3 new employees too that I added on, right, to the census?
I did.
Okay, sorry about that. They come and go.
No worries. We're used to that. Thank you.
Okay. One thing, Deanna, I didn't ask you before. When we put in the email address, is the email confirmation, has that been requested to be set up?
Yes, that is set up.
Okay. So for the enrollment team, if they put in the email address, when you complete the enrollment, within about 24 hours, they'll get an email confirmation of their elections. I'll show you what that looks like here later. If they come back to you or make another appointment and come back to you and make a change, you can go in and make the change and they'll get a new confirmation once you complete it. Okay, so dependents, if they're going to be covering dependents on any plan, any line of coverage, then you have to have the dependent information. You take the plus sign, you can choose the relationship, either spouse or child, and then key in the information to add a dependent. For sake of time, I'm not going to do that. Is your spouse, if your spouse is eligible for group health insurance coverage through their employer's plan, he or she does not qualify for group coverage under the Cost of Wisconsin, Inc. plan. Is your spouse eligible for coverage through his or her employer? That's pretty straightforward. It's either yes or no. Okay. So there's some verbiage up here. To enroll or continue your current coverage, click the option that represents your election. You can add dependents with the pencil. If you're electing coverage for your spouse, the working spouse form is required to be completed and turned into your HR department no later than December 15th to obtain spouse coverage. A copy of working spouse verification form can be found by clicking here as well.
And I was going to say too, so we're sending out like a prep email tomorrow that talks about what they need to be ready with for the meetings. And one of these items is if you're planning on keeping benefits or for your spouse or enrolling the spouse in the plan, that we're providing you with this form and this needs to be completed. So I'm crossing my fingers that maybe somebody even shows up with it done. But you know how that goes.
Alrighty. So 2 plans, HSA or traditional PPO. Very simple. You choose your plan and your tier, and you enroll or decline. Nice big buttons, easy to see, easy to navigate. So I chose the traditional plan, not the HSA. Actually, let me go back because I want to choose the HSA plan to show the HSA functionality. So because I've elected the HSA plan, now I am eligible to go into the HSA account itself, and it has a description of the contribution. I did not notice that before. And then the seeds and all of that stuff is described here. So they can put in the amount per pay period they want to contribute, $50, hit calculate, and it gives you the annual, or they can put in, they know they want to do $1,000 annually, you hit calculate, and it gives them the per pay. Or decline. You know, they just want to look at it, oh, let me think about that one. You can just waive it and go do it later or skip it altogether. If someone elects the HSA plan, but they don't put a contribution into the HSA account, do you still give them the contribution? I guess not, because
no.
it's kind of a match, isn't it?
Well,
yeah,
it's only if they utilize or open a HSA bank account.
Yeah, okay. All right, dental plan, only one plan, either accept or decline.
Numbers are fixed. Looks good.
Good. There's actually a video inserted here, but probably won't have time for that. On the accident plan, you'll just review the fee schedule with them and accept or decline. Anytime that there is life insurance, or in this case, there's an accidental death benefit on the accident plan, we're always going to capture a beneficiary. If I don't have dependents listed, it's just going to look like this. If I have dependents in the system, it will have them displayed here, so I can just check the box and move on. But otherwise, I can just click the plus sign if I want to add someone else, just like the dependent screen. Critical illness, you got the little slider bar there. You'll see that with the slider bar, as long as everything stays green, it's guarantee issue. 25,000 is the guarantee issue max for the employee here. So let's go ahead and elect it or waive. Beneficiary. Once you put in the beneficiary, it's going to stay the same beneficiary. You have the choice of changing it, but just for ease of enrollment, it stays the same. Short-term disability, again, slider bar, stays green, it's guarantee issue. This is the benefit amount. And I don't have to do the maximum. I can do whatever I want. Let's go ahead and take that. Voluntary permanent life, I was already in here before, as you can see. So I was in here before, so that's why you saw the previous screen. But if you haven't been in here before, you're going to see this first. Has a primary use, primary insured use tobacco products, yes or no, which drives the rates. And then this is a slider bar. Again, it's going up to the guarantee issue maximum here for the employee, but I can move it down to the minimum, $10,000, $351 per pay period. And then again, life insurance, so there's going to be a beneficiary. Basic life insurance, an AD&D. This is a company paid benefit, no additional cost to the employee. $20,000 for this class of employee, but again, there's 40 and 50 out there as well. Nothing to do with it. Next, choose the beneficiary. Now, term life, this is the voluntary term life of Guardian. So all kinds of options here. You've got the same slider bar, but I notice that once I get up higher here, it turns red. And it tells you you've elected an amount that will be subject to underwriting. If an employee wants to elect this amount, that's fine. They just have to fill out the evidence of insurability form, which I believe Deanna said is.
Those are printed and ready for the on-site enrollers.
That's some on-site. For the call center, could we get a PDF of that? We could email it to the employee and have them turn it into you.
We got it. It's in the forms library.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. It's in the forms library, Eric.
Just
you can download it.
Yeah, just an FYI too. You see that click here, the blue click here? Yeah. That actually takes you to Guardian's on-site. I don't know if it'd be real applicable, with the way we're enrolling, but just so you know, that is there. You click on that, it'll take you in a separate tab to Guardian's online EOI process. And while I've got the floor, real quick, remember we were talking about whether the email confirmation would show the pendings or not? We were talking about that, right? Yes. So I tested that, and it was good news. It did. So it tells you the amount, right? It was made $6 for my 100,000 or whatever is GI, and then in parentheses it gives you the the pending cost, as well as the, requested benefit amount. So that was really good.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. So that's term life. They can, again, beneficiary. Medical flexible spending account, healthcare FSA. Again, same thing as the HSA. It works on calculated amount per pay or amount, annual amount, accept or decline. Let's just pay this one. And then dependent care FSA, $5,000 max, cost per pay or annual. So the sign and submit page, are you satisfied with your elections? If so, click next. If you want to make some changes, these are actually hyperlinks here. And let me go and make a change. I'm going to go back to the dental plan. When you go back into to make a change, you have to unlock the product first, just by clicking the button there, and then you can make your change. Once I have gone through all the products, it's always going to push me back to the same page, the sign and submit page. If there are products that I missed, they'll be highlighted. So all you do, if everything is good here, hit next. It'll bring up the confirmation. I promise I will. That'll be my connection. Oh, there it is. This is a review and sign forms page. This is a Guardian disclosure notice here. And then we can sign. Deanna, did you enable PIN code here?
I did.
Okay. So we can sign, because we're in the administrative side, we can sign with our administrative password, or we can sign with the employee's PIN code. The employee's PIN code is the last 4 digits of the social and the 2-digit birth year, like 555575 as an example. I think I have my password saved in here. Yes, I do. So now I have the actual confirmation form itself, all the employee information, all the plans, descriptions, coverage, benefit amounts, etc. And then we have payroll deduction authorization verbiage at the bottom, total cost per pay period, and then sign again. Congratulations, tells me that I'm completed, I did everything correctly. I have a completed enrollment. I know that within 24 hours there's a confirmation form going to this employee. As I scroll down, I can see a summary of everything that I elected, all the way to the bottom, and then there's that confirmation form is there as well. But I know it's already being emailed. When I click return, it's going to push me back to the front to show me that Christopher is now complete. And I can go to the search bar, type in the next employee, first name, last 4 social, pull them up, and keep on going. Ladies, was there anything that I missed or that you'd like to touch on before we conclude here?
So, I did want to ask the questions to the enrollers, and I apologize for my ignorance, but do you guys feel comfortable with this? And I guess what's your comfort level overall with explaining benefits? And where I'm stemming from is we had kind of a not as fruitful experience with one of the presenters during our open enrollment meeting. So I just want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable. And obviously I know you still have to prepare, but be well prepared to be able to deliver the information.
Yes, understood.
Okay.
We just want to make sure that the first time doing this goes well. And then also,
they had a benefit meeting and the presenter they did not live up to expectations. So, you're a veteran.
They were terrible.
Terrible. Okay, well, and Eric too. Eric's been doing this forever with us, but yeah, you're in good hands.
And then just make sure that you're ready for the Spanish-speaking employees on the call center too.
Right, exactly. Okay. There is a scheduler, as I mentioned. So on Sunday evening, I'll send both of you guys your list of calls to make people that you're going to see on site or calls to make. And I'll just do that each day in the spreadsheet.
Oh, and then Caprice, I was going to just let you know, so on Monday morning, if I can be here to meet you, I will be here to meet you. It just depends on if my husband's home and can take my daughter to daycare. But otherwise, we will have somebody here who's going to meet you. They're going to give you the Wi-Fi password. They'll have all the various different items that we needed to print off for you to have on hand and show you where the meetings will take place.
Yeah, and her name is Judy, and she is typically in the office before 6:30 every morning. So, most mornings she'll probably be the one to meet you.
Yep. You can just come right to the front door. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, if anything comes up from anyone in the interim, we're here and available, Deanna and myself. And Caprice, we're meeting on Sunday as well anyway, just to recap on things. And on Monday, I plan on stopping by in Jackson on my way back to Milwaukee, actually. So I don't really know what time that'll be, but I'd like to pop in and make an introduction, meet some people.
Sure.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining, and have a great afternoon.
You too.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Take care.